Can you hear me?
No, yes.
And I can hear you, that's fantastic. Hi everybody, my name's Rob Hale, I'll be your host for this program. I feel a bit like I'm having one of the Senator's news press conferences here with all the microphones in the stand, so I'm going to relocate. Now you can see me. As I said, my name's Rob Hale. I'm going to be hosting our program. Welcome to an Irish music showcase honoring our own Senator Patrick Leahy. The Burlington Irish Heritage Festival is now in its 28th year, and again, delighted to be here. We want to thank our co-sponsor, the Fine Arts Department here at St. Michael's College, for making the space available to us. And geez, if you've looked at the website, there's a great whole week of programming beyond the week of Irish music, culture, dance, everything that you can think of. And the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival has been doing that, like I said, 28 years. Pretty great, right? 48 years. The Senator was in the Senate, but it's pretty good. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen. We're going to have some music and dance and performances of all kinds, poetry and other readings and whatnot. And that's it. I'm gonna say a little bit about our guest of honor here, just to cover it, in case you weren't paying attention in the last 48 years of what he's been up to. So, former member of the U.S. Senate Agriculture Committee, Intelligence Committee, former chair of the Appropriations Committee, former chair of the Judiciary Committee, former President Pro Tem of the United States Senate. He's been regarded as one of the leading privacy advocates in Congress, and he's been so effective, this man has been so effective, that he once got Lake Champlain designated as a Great Lake. That did not stick. It did not stick, but he tried. But that's his love of the state of Vermont, is doing amazing things. In 2008, the University College of Dublin, the Library and Historical Society, awarded Senator Leahy with the James Joyce Award. That is what people would call a big deal. If you applaud for everything this guy has done, we're going to be here for more than the 2 hours. But among the reasons they presented the award, they cited his support of the International Fund for Ireland, which supports reconciliation work between Unionists and Nationalists in Ireland. So thank you for that. We also want to acknowledge the support and contributions of his family, who helped make all that possible. So we're delighted to welcome his wife Marcelle here as well. And so I sometimes perform as a stand-up comedian, which is why I'm holding the mic stand like this. And I appreciate someone with a sense of humor, and in doing a little bit of research before today, I found that the Senator has a dandy sense of humor. I'm going to share a story. Apparently, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this one, sir. Apparently, when he first met Fidel Castro, Castro said to the Senator, "You've got to admit we have the best cigars in the world." And as I understand it, you agreed and said yes. And in fact, at that time, he had been enjoying them occasionally. And Castro asked the Senator to explain himself, to which the Senator replied that he viewed it as that he was burning the communist Castro's crops. I was delighted when I read that. And now, of course, he's taken a page, like I said, as a comedian, I appreciate these things. He's taken a page out of Jerry Seinfeld's book and is going out on a high note. But even in retirement, Senator Leahy is creating jobs in Vermont because it was announced that UVM, where they'll be holding his papers, is going to have to hire 3 archivists to categorize it and describe the papers. So this is who's been taking care of our business in Washington for 48 years. So we thought, yeah, we could put on a show. So thank you very much, Senator, and we'll be back and revisit some of this later as well. At this time, it is one of my great pleasures to introduce for a few words Leisha Moore, Secretary, can I get the title right? Consul General of Ireland to New England. And she's going to come up and say a few words.
Can you all hear me okay? Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Hello friends, it is such a pleasure to be back here once again joining you for the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival. I've joined you a couple of times virtually during the pandemic and had a very, very pleasant stay here back in 2019. So it's really, really nice to be back here during the final year of my tenure. Congratulations on a wonderful program. I'm really looking forward to the performance tonight, and I can see that you have a fantastic program of Irish culture, music, dance and language over the next week or so, and I'm really, really glad to be able to join you once again as you celebrate Vermont's very deep links with Ireland. And I'm really pleased especially to be here on the occasion of your paying tribute to Senator Leahy. I think everybody here recognises the Senator's very long and distinguished career of public service to the people of Vermont and the people of the United States. But I also want to talk a little bit more about the Senator's international career, and I'm not just talking about the Senator's long service to Ireland, but I do want to recognise that he has a very distinguished record of service in pursuit of principled international objectives. I'm talking about the Senator's long-standing commitment to human rights, his leadership on things like the international campaign against the production and export and use of anti-personnel landmines, his commitment to climate, his commitment to conservation. I could go on. But as Consul General of Ireland, of course I want to recognise in particular his lifelong commitment to Ireland, and we in Ireland are so fortunate for that. The Senator was a founding member of the Friends of Ireland in Congress back in the early 1980s, and this group did and continues to do so much to raise awareness of developments in Northern Ireland to Congress and to successive US presidents. As has already been mentioned, that the Senator was a long-standing supporter of the International Fund for Ireland, which works to promote peace and reconciliation and to help disadvantaged communities on the island of Ireland. Next month, we mark the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, whose transformative effects on the island of Ireland I think are hard to overstate. We now have a generation of young adults in Northern Ireland who have grown up without a direct knowledge or memory of the conflict. And while the agreement, of course, belongs first and foremost to the people of Northern Ireland, in many ways and in important ways, it was actually made in America through the unstinting support of people like Senator Leahy. So as I join you all today on this 25th anniversary year, I want to pay tribute to the part that the Senator has played in this remarkable achievement. Senator, I want to congratulate you on your retirement and on your remarkable career of public service. We in Ireland are so grateful for your friendship. We are so lucky to have friends like you. I know you have been to Ireland in the past. I hope that your retirement might afford you and Marcel the chance to come back and visit our country once again, and I think you can rest assured that if you did, you would receive a céad míle fáilte, 100,000 welcome. Banach Dina Philipor Gair. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. Please enjoy the Irish Festival. I'm really looking forward to enjoying it with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Leisha. All right, well, We ready for some entertainment?
Yeah.
It's okay, you can say yes. Our first performers are siblings who've shared their talents with the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival many times in the past. They're talented musicians and singers, and we've loved having them with us every time, and tonight is no exception. Together with their brother Oliver, they've performed throughout New England as the Zeichner Trio. Please give a warm welcome to Yazi and Luli Zeichner.
They had sung it at a singers club in Dublin, and it was an archived recording. They got the song from a friend of theirs called Jeffrey Weber, but it was originally a poem written by Joseph Campbell, who was a well-known Irish poet, but it got taken up as an English folk song written from an Irish poem.
So we'll play one more number for you. It's going to be a set of jigs.
The first jig is called Tommy Mulhair's Jig. It was written by a fiddler of that name. The second jig is called The Nightingale, and that is one of my favorite tunes. It was written by a fiddler from County Tipperary called Sean Ryan, 20th century fiddler. And the last tune that we're going to play is a great one called Connie the Soldier. Also, a lot of these tunes have more than one name, and so this one is also called Southwest Wind. And I will be doing a little bit of Sean-Nós dancing, which is a style of percussive dance, an old style of percussive dance from Connemara region of Ireland. So hope you enjoy this and that you enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you again.
Yossi and Lily Zeitner, wonderful. Let's see, make some noise if you've been going to the Irish Festival here for more than a couple of years. Make some noise if you've been going to festival events for more than 10 years. You're all awesome. We're friends now. We have some people, special guests here today that we'd like to recognize as well. I'll get to you in a moment. Okay. We have some members of the original founding steering committee for the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival, and I'd like to ask them to stand for a moment if they would. There we go. I knew you guys were here somewhere. These folks started something 28 years ago that, as you can see, is still going lively right now. And the way I like to think about the Irish Heritage Festival is it brings a little bit of the Emerald Isle to the Green Mountains, right? And that's because of what they did. So thank you very much for what you did, and let's hope for at least 28 more years of the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival. So our next performer's journey to Vermont started when his parents immigrated from County Mayo. His father was a good singer in his own right, and also spoke fluent Irish. This gentleman, also a really good singer in his own right, and sings in both English and Irish, and has a really big repertoire. So we're really delighted to have him with us here. Please, warm welcome for Andy Norton. Come on.
The first song I'd like to sing was written by a fellow from the county Tipperary named James Carney, who immigrated to Vermont in the 1800s, and he worked in the marble quarry around the town of West Rutland, Vermont. And he wrote a song called the West Rutland Marble Bond, bond being the Irish word for white. Oh, come on, ye good people, I'll tell a while and a story I'll unfold. For the truth I'll tell you know right well, as I was plainly told. For $1 a day will be your pay, go work at early dawn. It's a weary life to be pleasing a wife and cutting the marble bond. When I came to this state it was very late, about 9 in the afternoon. The night being dark and mealy and strange, I knew not where to roam. I boarded a train to West Rutland I came, where the steam mills always sung. That beautiful stone like never was known, they call the marble bond. For the Irish boys, they fear no noise, they'll stand on your rocks so brave. The sound of their drill will never be still, but echoing in your ear. They'll stand in line like the wild geese flying, and never be scolding or John. They're the very best boys that ever wore frieze for checking out the marble bond. Now Sheldon has a ledge, it lies to the north, the deepest all around. And Parker has a ledge, it lies to the south, the latest that has been found. But Sherman has a ledge in the midst of them both, the like of it never was known. Nothing can compare, save the snow from the air, to that beautiful marble stone. For when you're dead and in your grave with your stone at your head and feet, your parents will lament and be discontent, and bitterly mourn and weep. 'Twill be your doom to lie 'neath the tomb Now there is one man, his name's John Gill, I must not forget to praise. He's working hard from morn till night, he never stands to ease. The sound of his sledge on an iron wedge, it's like a shot when a trigger is drawn. He's the best in the state for his size and weight at chipping out the marble bond. Now my song I lend success to each friend that ever left the Shamrock shore. May you live in peace with the Yankee race and each other dearly adore. For we're free in the land of liberty, where no tyranny o'er us is drawn. We'll sit at our ease and sing the praise of the West Rutland Marble Lawn. What I do is I recite it for you first, Osperla in English, and then sing it for you in Irish. Okay? So on Cron She, the fairy tree. The gold of the evening is over Achill, the light of the moon is over Ballinashi. Under the quiet stars, William is singing, as sweetly as the birds in the top of the fairy tree. Oh, she left her friends and her spinning wheel turning, because she was sick and tired of working continuously. She'd rather be in a small space in magical Achill, making music with the birds in the top of the fairy tree. Oh, the blackbird and the song thrush are making lullaby music. The crickets are murmuring, the sun is going down. The quiet dusk has Una sleeping, peacefully dreaming under the branch of the fairy tree. Gonna be alive.
We're doing a little setup and stuff, so I'm going to vamp for a second. We do actually have some other people. I'm going to be saying thank you a lot to people today. That's my job, in part. There are some people here that are specifically donors to the 2023 Burlington Irish Heritage Festival. Maybe some of you would take a stand and we can say thank you. Let's applaud for them anyway, even if they're shy. Let's see. We have. I'm on my own, all right. Well, I'll introduce the act and they'll appear, right? That's the way it works. I am excited actually to introduce this next act. Her love of Irish music was kind of the gateway to her learning Irish dance, and she's been exploring them both actively ever since then. She runs the Garrett School of Irish Dance, where she teaches both contemporary and traditional styles of Irish dance. And she's going to be accompanied by some of her students, and musically she'll be accompanied by the band One More Time, who regularly play Irish Gaelic sessions in Montpelier and lots of other locations. Am I too early to introduce them? I'll bring them out, Mark? Yeah, okay. Make some big noise for Lisa Garrett and One More Time.
colored waves and golden springs. You got to do a double, he wanna fall all over my back.
Lisa Garrett, and one more time. They were wonderful. All right, let's see, what am I doing next? Let's look at the paper. Oh, hey, if you liked that, and you like getting together and listening to Irish music and maybe dancing yourself, the Garrett School of Irish Dance is hosting a community ceilidh with the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival tomorrow. Let's see, where is it? At the Richmond Free Library from 1 to 3. One more time, we'll be playing there as well. It'll be a great time, and we hope to see you there. You were wonderful. One more time for one more time. So our next presentation is from an award-winning author of American Wake, Landscape with Plywood Silhouettes, and Keep This to Yourself. She's the recipient of fellowships from the National Endowment for the Arts and the Vermont Studio Center, and is winner of the Sustainable Arts Foundation's Writing Award. And also, she's a teacher, so she teaches at the Center for Technology in Essex. Anyway, big warm welcome, would you please, for Karen McCadden.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me all right? Thank you so much for having me to the festival, and thank you so much to Senator Leahy for all your work that you've done for us. In the long list of your accolades, I'm not so sure that they mentioned that I believe you're a graduate of St. Michael's College. I'm going to read some poems today that are from a book of poems I wrote after finding my family in Ireland again. I grew up outside of Boston, and my grandparents both came from Donegal, Ireland, and I grew up very close with them, and they never wanted to speak about being from Ireland or what Ireland was like. And so I was left growing up with this real just wish to know. And as an adult, I was able to find my family in Donegal, and I go back every summer now that I can and stay on my grandfather's farm. So it's been a wonderful process of getting to know my cousins and reconnecting across the pond, as they say. The first poem I'll read is called In the Window at Aras an Uachtaráin, which is the name of the president's house in Ireland. And this poem is for Mary Robinson, who was president of Ireland, when I realized that as an American from Ireland, I was invited back. She put a light in the window of the president's house so that we could all know that we had a home there. And that was the first moment that I felt I understood that my roots in Ireland were also my home. And in this poem is a little moment where I talk about sleeping aunties, and it's not like aunts and uncles, it's the idea of an auntie in a card game. So. When I was tall enough to reach the kitchen pole chain light switch, I figured it was time for me to know where we came from. Wished her blether, she laughed. In her throat, a hands of cards she wouldn't play. The jar of pennies sleeping aunties I stacked on the plastic tablecloth while I ate lemon cake at Sunday dinner, and she bustled in a navy blue dress, the paragon of American grandmotherhood. I, a good girl, who later wouldn't listen. First, I was a farm wife who kept a house of secrets. I was from nowhere. I failed and failed to make my way. What did I know of home, I sometimes say now, as a way of lying to myself. I knew and know, and if I am to be honest now, I waited too long to learn to fight, to talk back to myself, like a light crowds out the night. I called my grandfather, oh goodness sakes. when I'd see him, because I would come to the screen door and he would say, "Oh, for goodness sakes, would you look who's here? Look who's here." So that was his name. Our house behind the hawthorns. Up the lane, each house abandoned longer ago is deeper in bog moss and lichen. Our house is just stone walls, a box filled with rusted bed frames and plows. 11 children, 2 benches, a plank table, work and haul, kettle and hook, stick broom, dirt floor, turf light. At night, tiptoe the edges of 13 people sleeping. Come morning, the clouds are what moves, the magpie flashing like it is not afraid. The sheep say their words with their heads low, as if they know a story is a sacrament. What I came to learn, boxes have ways of folding that children can't know. The man I called, "Oh goodness sakes," would tell me nothing, signed the short song of his name with an X. One of the traditions in Ireland is the American wake, which is the wake for the living who's leaving to come to America. So both of my grandparents had these wakes where the village would get together and have a regular wake for them as if they were dying, but they were alive. They were just leaving and would never see these people again, most likely. So this poem is called American Wake. It starts with lyrics from a song about emigration, and the lyric is, "The land is too small to serve all, and we must cross the sea." American Wake. Hold a wake for the living, the leaving. Stop the clocks and turn the mirrors. Tell stories. Smoke and eat and drink. It was never a question of whether they'd leave, but when. Play games to pass the time, not to check that the dead are dead, but to lift a lesser God. Tell what you've heard about the new world. Later, all you will be able to tell is what you remember. Let the keener loose on the night. Let the house wail. Sing the songs. Let pipes keep evil at bay. Square off with your child and dance. Let the neighbors whose baby was born with a call lend it, a charm against drowning. Give dry cakes for the passage, a box of eggs. Roast frogs, grind them to a powder, and bake into bread to safeguard against fever. Take no shortcuts to the dock. This is it. The bees will tell the other world who's gone. And I'll read one more poem. Thank you again for having me. Under the blue stack mountains, around every corner is a man with a dog and a shepherd's hook. When the coast is clear, I wander into old homes, their doors hanging loose or gone, and try to tell myself the story of how it all ended, of who was the last to go. I look under a mattress. I scan shelves, hearts. Sometimes I think I am home. When the rain stops, I walk, naming what I know. Fuchsia, holly, rowan. 3 years in, I'll stop asking what everything is and learn in secret. Chaffinch, magpie, hooded crow. We lived under Crooknameel, stack of midges, stack of beasts, of the cattle and the whales. I put supper scraps on a post for the birds and fall asleep in a place so dark, nothing has a beginning. Thank you.
So when the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival started years ago, it was in part because in Burlington, there was kind of a dearth of a lot of cultural things around St. Patrick's Day. It tended to be more of the green beer and Lucky Charms view of the Irish American experience. And so the festival bringing music and dance and authors together for that kind of stuff, it's wonderful, and I don't know, I love seeing it, so I hope you do too. Our next act is quite a pair. She's performed with the groups Full Circle, the Champlain Consort, and the Noyana Hospice Choir. He's performed with the Vermont Symphony Orchestra, the Champlain Consort, Williston Town Band, and the Noyana Hospice Choir. Please welcome to the stage Marianne Samuels and Chapin Kaynor.
Hello, we're delighted to perform for you today and honored to perform for you our beloved Senator Patrick Leahy and Marcel Leahy. We're going to play two O'Carolan tunes, and Turlough O'Carolan is an Irish harp musician who lived, and I have to look up his dates again, from 1670 to 1738. And he traveled around Ireland on horseback, gathering tunes and writing tunes. And he was blind. And the first tune that we're going to play for you is called Blind Mary, so it probably has special significance to him. And the second tune is called Hewlett. And we're going to play these two without interruption between the two. Sure, I was going to let people guess what my instrument was. I'm going to play a soprano recorder and then a great bass recorder, which is the same thing, only 4 times bigger.
I want a hammered dulcet.
That last one guts me every time I hear it. I love that song. Two minutes, right? Those are caroling tunes, right? So if you didn't know, one of the other things that happens in the greater Vermont Irish community is the Carolyn Festival. And this is going to be June. Yep, June 24th is going to be the 14th Carolyn Festival. It's a wonderful time. I've been there myself. There's bookmarks out front if you want to pick one up. They look like that. And they tell you all the information. It's a wonderful time, and it's a lot of that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful music. How the kids doing? You doing all right? You getting some thumbs up? I don't know if you know this. Make your parents take you next weekend, because there's a bunch of programming at the Fletcher Free Library for kids. There's movies, there's arts and crafts, there's board games, there's all kinds of fun stuff. So next weekend at the Fletcher Free Library. And we want to thank the Fletcher Free Library. They've been a wonderful partner for the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival for years and years and years and years. You know, one thing I forgot to mention too, this is why you bring notes with you. If you ever have to host a thing, make sure you bring notes. Marianne Samuels and Chapin will be playing in May with the Bella Voce Singers. So that's good too. It's not the Irish Heritage Festival, but it's good too. Let's see. At this time, I'd like to invite the author of Vermont's Irish Rebel, a biography of the Irish-born John Lonergan, who led the 13th Vermont Infantry Regiment with gallantry in the Battle of Gettysburg. I'd like to invite the author to the stage. Please welcome Liam McComb.
Senator Leahy, distinguished veterans, members of the Irish community, and particularly the Irish Heritage Festival group. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to speak briefly here and to present a special copy of my book to Senator Leahy. Don't need to stand, I'm going to speak for a minute here. John Lonergan was born in 1837, 100 years before me, in the town of Carrick-on-Suir in County Tipperary, which may be familiar to some of you because it was home of the Clancy brothers. So he came over, as my people did, when the potatoes went bad, and settled in Burlington. He was recently honored by the dedication of a new citizenship office in Colchester, recognizing him as an immigrant who fought bravely for his adopted country. But he never gave up on the cause for Ireland. He was the head of the Fenian Brotherhood in Vermont, who attacked Canada twice after the Civil War. So there's a couple of connections because John Lonergan formed an Irish company here in Burlington and was called up for the first of the 3-year regiments, the 2nd Regiment. He was tagged on as Company K at the end there. But apparently, the lads that were going off to war had to celebrate a bit, and when the time came to muster in at the fairgrounds north of Burlington, most of them were absent. So the U.S. Army officer, the regular Army officer that was detailed up here to muster in the regiment, refused to muster in part of a regiment. They was supposed to come back the next day, but this upset the governor enough, Governor Orestes Fairbanks, that he disbanded the mustering officer was a man named Gabriel J. Rains. He was lieutenant colonel The next month he left and he went south and fought for the Confederacy. And he is known as the father of the anti-personnel landmine. So there's a connection over the years there that Lonergan did form a second company in 1862, and just before they were due to muster out, come back to Vermont, they marched 120 miles in 6 days to Gettysburg, and he led the charge of the Vermont Brigade, the 2nd Vermont Brigade, at a crucial moment into the flank of Longstreet's, the Pickett's charge. For that, he received the Medal of Honor. And it's a pleasure to have pieced all this together and have an opportunity to present it to our own honored Irishman here, Senator Leahy.
You can have lots of time to read now, I suppose. At this time, I'd like to ask, since the house lights are up, this would be great, we'll be able to see them. I'd like to ask the organizing committee for this year's Irish Festival. We've got a little bit to do before this. We're ready for that. Okay. I'd like to have the members of the organizing committee please take a stand. I asked them to stand, but you can sit now. But I asked you all to stand because of 2 reasons. One is I wanted everybody to have the opportunity to thank you, because this is really a wonderful program that you've put together, and a marvelous festival year after year. And I also asked you to stand because I'm about to speak on your behalf. So whatever I say from this point forward, they've signed off on. Sorry. No. When I started talking with folks about hosting this event, a number of people asked me if you were Irish, Senator. And I was like, geez, the last name should give it away. And I explained, yes, he was. And the Senator's family traces their roots back to County Cork and County Kerry, as I understand. So, +1 for research. Okay. And you yourself come from Montpelier originally, I believe, yes. Okay. So, I think we're all inclined to look at this today, then, as local boy makes good. In fact, having gotten your undergraduate here at St. Michael's, does it feel a little bit like you're coming home and saying, you showed him? He showed him. And while there's a great tradition of Irish politicians, Senator Leahy has done a particularly good job of it. He's worked across the aisle many times, even being co-recipient in 2005 of the Project on Government Oversight's Bipartisan Leadership Award. Not easy. Not easy. Especially these days, exactly. His bipartisanship, though, is, I think, more lovingly remembered by the Vermont community from when, in 1998, his Republican opponent, Fred Tuttle, endorsed him. That was great. Jim? I hit my cue. On the screen here you see a plaque. It is a cast iron replica of the harp plaques, which used to be found on many post offices in Ireland. It displays the iconic, ancient, wire-strung harp and the Irish word for Ireland, Erin. It's displayed in a maple box, well, it will be when you get it. In a maple box, handcrafted by Vermont woodworker Barrett Grimm. And it's got a metal easel, so it can be displayed. It's no Oscar like you should have gotten for the Batman films. But it's kind of nice. Senator Leahy, as much as the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival is about Irish and Irish American culture and heritage, it's also about community. Your record of service to this community, the wider Vermont community, and our country, is now part of the Irish American experience, and will be written down. And so we thank you for that. And so the Irish Heritage Festival would like to present you with this plaque in acknowledgement of your many years of service. I'm going to sneak in here.
I would almost recommend using the easel, which we have provided if you have a spot on a bookshelf or a table. Yeah, so we just, all right, and we just put it over there. All right, thank you.
Thank you. This could be dangerous to hand a microphone to someone in public office. I see a classmate of mine, Pat Robbins, two Pats in the same class here, St. Michael's nodding his head, yes. He understands that. But I think a comment was made about the height of partisanship, and I think of the times that the Irish have tried to help with the question of partisanship. There's a tradition that began a number of years ago on St. Patrick's Day in Washington, where key members of the House and the Senate, both parties, would meet for lunch and just forget all politics. And it was begun by Ronald Reagan, a Republican, and Tip O'Neill, who was Speaker of the House, and obviously an Irish Democrat. And the two of them would begin by singing Irish songs once the press was out of the room. They'd sometimes get a bit body. They didn't have the Grateful Dead in them. I sort of hummed some in my mind. But I think that the great line was President Reagan had, this is how he brought together, he said, we're here to celebrate the anniversary of the passing of St. Patrick. That was 582 years ago, pick a number. He paused and he said, only the Irish could keep the weight going that way. Call my parents in Montpelier and tell them, because I heard the stories from my father. My grandfather, Patrick J. Leahy, died as a stone carver in Barrie, and many Irish did. It was so close to the ones he was 32 or 3 years old. So I never knew him. When I go by his graveyard, or gravestone, his and my grandmother in Barrie, it really hits me. Although I have had opponents over the years go by and say, damn, wrong one. We had, it was a different time then in Vermont. My father, 12 or 13 years old, had to go to work to support his mother and younger sister, and had to leave school to do that. He became a self-taught historian and he would have loved to see your book. That, he read more history books than anybody I know. But he told me the days back then to show you the change in Vermont. The signs, when he went to see works, and either no Irish need apply, or if you didn't understand the sect, he would say no Catholic need apply. And he taught me and told me you never show bias or prejudice to anybody for their religion or anything else. And I thought of this when I got involved heavily with the Good Friday Accord, as you mentioned. And, I remember going over, Prime Minister Blair was coming to Belfast, and President Clinton was coming too. We started in Dublin with President Clinton, and then worked our way up. And when I got to Belfast, there was assigned a Ulster police sergeant to be with me. I was a senior member of our delegation. And he never mentioned his religion, but they were just barely begun to open up the Ulster police force. So I assumed he was Protestant, but what he said could have been said by anybody of either party, either side. He said, because of your president's work, and George Mitchell and John Hume and the others we worked with, he said, I'm now allowed to have friends of the other faith. That could have been said by either Protestant or I'll never forget it. He said, but most importantly, he said, I no longer have to teach my children to hate. Think of that. And Madam Council, you know what Ireland went through during that time. I told him he should go in and tell President Clinton this. He said, well, there's no way I could do that. And I said, well, great, Jim. So I brought him in, holding room, told the president, you've got to hear what this man has to say. The poor guy said is shaking. And so he tells President Clinton that. Clinton thanks him very much. He leaves. The president turns to me with tears coming down his face. He says, once in a while, we do things right. And that, I think of the Irish Fund, Willie MacArthur and others I've worked with over the years, a number of times, went there with George Mitchell and John Hume and others, to bring people together, tell them you can have them work together. And I thought over the years how much that applies to in our own country, of what we can and should do. So I don't want to take up a long time. I do have to admit, with all my trips to Ireland, all the times I've been there, all the Irish music I've heard, I've got a little nudge from Marcel here saying, the Grateful Dead is in there. that was fun. But Ireland, a small country that punches above its weight. One of the great things we had in our family, we had an anniversary last year. For a year, we planned with our children and our grandchildren. Where did they want to go? Unanimously, they were Ireland. And they, I should apologize to the memory of my Italian mother. First generation Italian American. But they planned exactly where they wanted to go and had a wonderful trip. I'm a little bit clumsy and I had a bad fall. Actually, as we were packing, getting ready to go to the airplane. I ended up spending a month in the hospital with a badly shattered hip, and fortunately a wonderful nurse who was there every single day. And we got great videos and everything else from the children and the grandchildren, and they still talk about it.
And if I can get a visa, we will do it in the future. I do love Ireland, and I'll stop with that. Everybody, if you haven't gone, go. The one thing you hear when somebody understands that you speak English with a funny American accent, they'll say, "Oh, you're from America." Well, I have a cousin in Chicago. Perhaps you know. That I've always loved. I said, "Well, I have a cousin in Vermont. You know Vermont," and we have a good time. But this song means a great deal. It's I think back to my parents. I think of what they went through. I think of how it's changed. I think of now Irish. I remember my parents were thrilled when John Kennedy was elected president, and the fact that I could become the first person with an obviously Irish name and Irish ancestry to be elected to the United States Senate. And I can't tell you how much it means to me that you allowed me to be the longest serving senator we've had, one of the longest in the country. It has been a great honor, and thank you for having my son and I here.
Great, we have to follow that. Let's see. Would the fiddleheads please make their way to the stage while I do this next? Oh. Thank you. Our next two acts come to us by way of a long-standing partnership of the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival, Young Tradition Vermont. Founded by Mark Sustick and his wife, Deborah Travis, in memory of their son, Tom Sustick, Young Tradition Vermont's mission had been to give Vermont's youth opportunities to participate, learn, perform, teach, and grow by sharing a love for traditional music and dance. And there's exciting news about Young Tradition Vermont because it's recently come under the umbrella of Vermont Folklife. And it's a wonderful development that's going to ensure the great work for young people is going to continue long into the future. And so, for just another stand and thank you moment, I want to ask the founder of Young Traditions Vermont, Mark Sustick, and the director of Young Traditions. Well, you applauded before I got to say the man's name. I'm going to make you do it again now, but this time wait for the name. Please welcome the director of Young Tradition Vermont at Vermont Folklife, Ian Drury. Thank you both for being here and for the work that you do to keep the traditions of Irish music alive in our state. And also related to youth kind of exposure to traditional music, we want to remind you that we have a very popular event that Young Tradition Vermont at Vermont Folklife runs called the Instrument Petting Zoo, which will be part of the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival's children activities next Saturday at the Fletcher Free Library. And like I said, we already finished the Fletcher Free Library, so we can move on from that. Okay. Is everybody ready? I'm not. So our next performer has been involved with Young Traditions Vermont since elementary school and is a shining example of that organization's legacy. She's performed throughout Vermont, New York, New Jersey, Cape Breton, and Scotland. And she's been leading a Young Tradition Vermont Fiddleheads residency, and you can see them behind me. They'll be performing next Sunday, March 19th at the festival's Cayley, and that's from 1 to 3 at Burlington City Hall. But I'd like to introduce the leader. Please give a warm welcome to Maeve Fairfax.
here. I'm Maeve. Do you all want to just say your names really quick?
Her name is Maeve. I'm Meg. My name is Ben. I'm Aven. I'm Hannah.
So I'm so excited to have them here with me. We're going to start out with a waltz written by Shannon Heaton. She is an Irish musician living in Boston. It's called Woodland Waltz.
Irish musician?
Next we have two jigs. The first one is called the Rolling Waves, and the second one is called the Conic Moon's Rambles. song that I learned off of a CD that my parents bought from a band in, I think, Colorado. It's an Irish-American band called Shukra. They're not a band anymore, but I don't know anything else about the song except it's called Pulling Hard Against the Stream. In this world I've gained my knowledge, and for it I've had to pay. No, I never went to college, still I've heard the poets say, life is like a mighty river, and it flows from day to day, and when our vessels cast upon it, some are thrown and swept away. Do your best by one another, making life a pleasant dream. Not a friend and not a shilling, pulling hard against the stream. In this life I've endured such sorrow, I felt kindness slip away. I have seen a dark tomorrow, still I search and find my way. Often we will feel discouraged, scared of life and scared of death, but in true friends we find true courage, and in strength we take our breath. So do your best by one another, making life a pleasant dream. Lend a hand to help your brother, pulling hard against the stream.
Okay. If our next act will make their way to the stage, I'll start the introduction portion. It's going to take a second to get set up, I think. So I'm going to tell a quick story. So my grandfather came from County Galway and spoke, yep, that's right. I love my people. And he spoke Irish as his first language, English as his second, and when he moved to the States, one of my favorite things, they're almost ready, so I gotta hurry this up. One of my favorite things I learned about my grandfather was, and this is appropriate because we're at St. Michael's College, he used to go to confession to the American priests, but he'd confess in Irish. I want to know what he got away with and only had an Our Father to do for it. Okay, we're almost ready here, so I'll start the intro. So our next act is also being presented in collaboration with Young Tradition Vermont through Vermont Folklife. They're a group of three, as you an add-on. Teen musicians, you're not a teen, who are friends. They love to perform traditional music, come up with their own tunes. They are nominees for the 2023 Canadian Folk Music Awards as Young Performers of the Year. That's no small bean. They have an upcoming show this Monday at Rira in Burlington from 6 to 9 p.m. Let's make some noise for the Receivers.
Test. Awesome. Top of the morning to you, Senator Leahy. We are the Receivers. This is Willa Marwood over here, and this is Fern Marwood here, and this is my dad Murray on guitar to play. And yeah, we're a folk band from Canada, and we're here to wish you congratulations. We're sorry. And that was our congratulations to you. So yeah, we're gonna play this tune for you. It's called Neptune, and it's a tune that we wrote together as a band. And yeah, we're super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having us. name's Irish Willie, by the way.
Thank you.
called Secret Victory. You know, we all have secret victories every day, so this one just goes out to everybody in the room, you know? You're doing good. It's awesome. This is by a band called the East Pointers. So hope you enjoy it. Thanks for having us. Here we go.
receivers, everybody. Wow. Set up here. How we doing? We're gonna run a little long, is that okay? We had a 6 o'clock meeting, you're already late. Let's see. Start the intro here. So, novelist Colin McCann has said of this next presentation, said that this man, he said in the Irish Times that this man is the poet laureate for all who have gone from Ireland. He's an award-winning poet, including a Guggenheim for Poetry. His collections of poetry, Selected Delancey, Book 17, and No More Time, they're wonderful. He has a new book due out in August this year, It's entitled The Professor of Forgetting. I think I had one of them. So be sure to pick that up. His papers have just been made available to the public by the National Library of Ireland. He's been teaching here at St. Michael's College for 38 years, so 10 fewer than Senator Leahy was in the Senate. Please help me welcome to the stage Greg Delante.
Give me 10 minutes, but I don't know who can hold that long, but we'll try. I picked the poems from the different books specifically for the occasion, but especially for Senator Leahy, whose background, early family, and the father's side was from Cork. Did they come from Cork? And Kerry, which is where I'm from. So they spoke like me. The first poem I'm going to read is from one of those early books that I wrote in the early 90s when I came here first. I found it hard. You know, Okay. It's very unusual for me to be quiet. Are we good? Okay, we're good. I'm just saying, the early, I found it hard to come to terms with, by accident really, that I ended up being an immigrant. And so these poems came out of that, and they come from a book. There are many American waits, and the wait, Senator Leahy mentioned wait earlier on, and this book came out in 1995, and it's really set against being an immigrant. And I'm going to read you two very short poems from it. I marked the pages because the marker came out. In the Land of the Eagle, it deals with the folklore tale of the wren in Irish folklore. All the birds were having a battle about who was the best or the greatest or to be the king of the birds. And everybody thought it was going to be the eagle, so did the eagle. But the little wren, the smallest bird in Ireland, got on the eagle's back and was so light, the eagle didn't realize it. And when the eagle flew up as high as it could, the wren flew higher up off his back. So, sort of metaphorically. In the Land of the Eagle, our first night here, we pub crawled the Bronx. Still too new for us not to be enthralled by the street life and brew of all-night watering holes with names like the Shamrock or Galway Shawl, full of legals and illegals longing to go back, lowering pint after pint of their staggering Irishness, slanting the Dubs winning point, cursing American Guinness. After that country for all men abandoned them, like the gannet abandons its fledgling, not all of them make it. Those that do are more like the wren who flew high off the eagle of folklore, prevailing in the contentious sky. And this four-line poem, five-line, again on the people, on the immigrant people who had to leave. It's built against you might know all of this, sorry if I'm telling you what you know. The children of Lair Fionnuala and her two brothers were turned into swans and were sent out of Ireland. And this is about the children of Lair. Who hears? Today, snow falls in swan downy flakes, reminding me of the children of Lir, not solely of Fionnuala and her brothers, but all exiles over all the years with only dolorous songs for company. The last note of their singing now fills the air. It is the silence of snow slowly falling. An echo there, I suppose, of the David Joyce, but anyway, I should be saying my illusions. This is a political poem, and I am very politically active over the years. I even ran in the elections as the, well, I won't go into it now, but take too long a story. But the loosestrife, you know, loosestrife, the plant, it grows, it's not native, and it kills all the other plants around it, beautiful as it is. And this poem was originally published in the Atlantic, and it was called An American Sonnet. And I said, why are you calling it American Sonnet? It's 14 lines. And I said, but it's only 14 lines. There's no rhyme, there's no, 10 syllables, etc., etc. But anyway, it's an American sonnet. I must be becoming American. I'm here now over half my life. And I love Burlington, I love Vermont, and St. Michael's has been very good to me. And by the way, I will say this, Pat, every time I ever met you, and we've been on stage a few times, and we talk, you may not remember now, but it was an honor, of course, but I'd always want to talk to you about American politics, and you'd always want to talk to me about Ireland. Loosestrife. You have become your name, Loosestrife, carried on sheep. I will say that it came in from Europe, and we don't know really what the story is, but these are actual beliefs that they may have come this way. You have become your name, Loosestrife, carried on sheep, spurting up out of ballast, a cure brought across the deep to treat wounds, soothe trouble. There have been others like you, the rhododendron, the cattails that you in your turn overrun. Voices praise your magenta spread, your ability to propagate by seed, by stem, by root, and how you adjust to light, to soil, spreading your glory across the earth, even as you kill by boat, by air, by land, all before you, the hardy ants, the rare orchids, the spawning ground of fish. You'll overtake the earth and destroy even yourself. Or loosestrife, purple plague, beautiful us. Sorry, but that was a dark one. US as well at the end of the two more. This is a sonnet that I wrote here at St. Michael's. My back, from my office, I saw two students of colour outside the window down below me in the International Garden. And it struck me why one of the students, they were both of colour, but had a beautiful sheen of blue in the light that you can see sometimes. So, but in Irish, the Irish word for a person of colour is blue person. It was never black person. Until they started changing it now in Irish, but it was far gone. The blue person, the blue man. It's an interesting take on, we have to be so careful now, but this is a reality, you know. So anyway, this is where the poem came from. Blues, it's called, blues. there's a brilliant but intangible lazuli-like blue. You must have seen it. Glistening of fresh snow, something akin but not quite the same as you see shine off the back of a barn swallow. The star and moon blinged night sky, the neck of a male mallard, the halo of a gas stove flame, a certain neon butterfly, or the back of a blue butterfly. This ineffable glow I noticed again, seeing students, both on white, many and tight prints, shimmering blue light as they high-fived by the International Garden outside my office. I didn't cotton on till then why in the Irish language a black brother and sister are called blue. Oh, our beautiful blue sister and brother. And I'm going to finish now with an environmental poem. The last book was we have one more time, no more time, but this is actually from a book I was originally asked to do by the Greenwriters Press, a book about poems of environment, my own. And I said, sure, I'll do it. And then I thought, I'm going to ask everybody in, you know. So there's students, faculty, and staff from St. Michael's all over this book, photographs, everything. And I have this copy I have one copy, and I'm going to give it to Senator Leahy. And I've always said to students, excuse me now, but if I'm pontificating a bit, but it was very important for me that Senator Leahy, I'd say to the students, you feel useless, you feel you can't do anything, you feel you won't become anything, and be able to change the system. And I said, well, there was a man here, some of them didn't even know sometimes. Senator Leahy, that was the same as you sitting there, and he made a difference. And it's important for them to know that, you know, and that they can. So thank you. I could use you as an example of how they can be active and not feel terrible. I'm going to finish with this now, just a very short poem. From One More Time. Which is the book. This book was called So Little Time. Patient, it's only 8 lines, and it was I saw it in the mountain, around Mansfield, in the distance when I was coming over. By the way, I put my poems where my mouth is, or my action where my mouth is. I gave up my car 10 years ago. And this is, we can all do it. Well, we can't all do it, but it's easier for some people. And I gave up my car 10 years ago, cycle everywhere, even during the winter, into St. Michael's, and put my door outside the office to annoy everybody, because they should be doing it more themselves. And then, also, there's no oil or gas in my house. And I got arrested with Bill McKibben outside the White House when he was doing prosecuted. All right, patient. It's a short poem. And thank you very much. The snow has melted clean off the mountain. It's winter still. Yet another indication that Gaia is in trouble, that things aren't sound. The rocking mountaintop shines like the bald head of a woman after chemo who wills herself out of her hospital bed to take in the trees, the squirrels, the commotion in town, sip beer in a dive, smile at the child staring at her shining head, wishing it didn't take all this dying to love life.
Great Galanti, everyone. Okay, our final performance is a Burlington Irish Heritage Festival favorite. Founded in 2008 by Beth Ann McFadden, the students of this Irish dance school participate in regional, national, and international competitions. They are the hosts of the Vermont Maple Fesh. You can see them perform next Sunday at our Festival Ceilidh at Burlington City Hall from 1 to 3. Please make some noise for the McFadden Academy of Irish Dance.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Beth Ann McFadden. I'm the director of the McFadden Academy of Irish Dance. I have owned my school for about 15 years. We've been teaching Irish dance in Vermont, and we are very honored to be a part of this awesome ceremony for Senator Leahy, and thank you to the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival for having us. I have brought a bunch of my dancers, younger all the way through some of my older champions. So we're going to do some soft shoe, and then we're going to switch into the hard shoes. So on stage right now, we have Evie, Ella, and Amos. Yes, I have 2 boys in our troupe tonight. All right, we got to get boys doing Irish dancing. And these 3 dancers are going to do a very lively set of reels. Okay, now I have a special treat for you. I'm going to welcome one of our young men to the stage. Sam, can you come out here, please? This is Sam. Sam is 16 years old, and he's one of our top championship dancers. And in about 3 weeks from, I believe this week coming up, right? Sam is going to be heading up to Montreal, Canada, because he is qualified to dance in the World Championships of Irish Dancing. So we are very, very excited. He's going to be going up against some really tough competitors from all around the world, and we know that he is going to represent Vermont very proudly. And he's going to perform one of his very fast hard shoe dances, and this one is called a treble jig. I won't hold him on the stage too long because I know that's tiring. We wish him lots of luck as he heads up to Montreal, Canada. We know he's going to do a great job. So this brings us to our final number, and we've saved the best one for last. I'm going to welcome 7 of my lovely championship ladies in their beautiful solo dresses. So you're going to see a lot of sparkles, a lot of crystals. It's going to be shining from all around the auditorium. And they're going to perform a very lively hard shoe reel. It's called a treble reel. So we're going to crank the music really loud on this one. And I need the audience to be clapping along because you're going to want to. This one's a really fun one. Once again, we are the McFadden Academy of Irish Dance. Thank you so much to the Burlington Irish Heritage Festival for having us at this wonderful event. And congratulations, Senator Leahy, on all the wonderful years. And we hope you've enjoyed the show. The McFadden Academy of Irish Dance. I totally forgot to tell you, Senator Leahy, that number that they just danced to, the band is called Leahy. Like, couldn't be more perfect, so we had to tell you that. One more time, 1, 2, 3, now. Thank you guys again.
Oh, folks, that concludes our showcase. I want to thank once again the Fine Arts Department here at St. Michael's College for hosting us and having us in this beautiful space. As much as I said earlier, as much as the festival is about Irish culture and music and dance and whatnot, it's about community. Thank you all for coming out and being part of that community. We really appreciate your presence here. And again, one more time, I want to thank you for coming out and celebrating the career of Senator Leahy with us. Senator, thank you so much for everything you've done over the years. One more time for the Honorable Patrick Leahy.